Hi guys. So a question was recently asked, right? Why do we choose to suffer? Like, if it's true we're creator, why in the hell did we choose this? That's an easy one to answer. It's really simple, actually. It's probably one of my favorite questions. And a lot of people can't answer it because they haven't understood it from source perspective. So they're taking their 3D world and not understanding it through a 5D lens. So they're very limited in their perception. And as such, they haven't understood the reason for putting yourself through this. Why would you do that, right? It's actually really easy to answer. And the Bible actually gives you the first clue. So does the Vedas, and so does every other holy scripture. In truth, it is through the human condition that we achieve our enlightenment. If your enlightenment were in the attic, the human experience are the stairs you must climb to get there. So it is in transcending yourself and these things that you're able to achieve this peace and this full awareness. In a lot of people, they fear their creation so much that they're afraid to go through this experience, and so as such, they fool themselves into being separate and fool themselves away from their experience as creator. And it's a mind fuck, to be honest, because your eyes show you what is behind you. Your eyes are there to deceive you. Your eyes are actually the reason you can't see inside your construct. And in essence, we are fooled by this illusion because anytime you think you are separate from everything that you are seeing, you're facing the wrong way and not understanding the gift that it is providing. So why did we choose to suffer? Why did we choose this? Well, we're the big guns. And quite honestly, we all are. Everyone is made perfect. But there is a stage that you must arrive that requires full-on ownership of everything that you are in order to rise above your circumstances. This means rising above victimization. This means rising above this potential and seeing beyond the construct that you have created. And the truth is, the human condition is in dire need of help, your help. And that help arrives through your healing, your understanding, your complete and total devotion to yourself. Yeah, to yourself. See, because until you rescue yourself, you haven't been able to help anybody. In fact, most therapists, they're wounded healers, and as such, they go about trying to fix themselves unconsciously, serving the world, not knowing that it is their own shadow that they are trying to rescue. It's what we all do. A wounded healer, classic. We all go about that. In fact, it is not until we realize that it is our own wounds that we are all running on autopilot trying to serve that we can be freed from the construct. So, in truth, most healers, that's what we're doing. We are unconsciously serving our shadow in an attempt to fix ourselves, when in truth, the direction needs to be redirected. It needs to be focused back on ourselves, and with that understanding, we can be freed. And this is a very hard thing to do because as source, you recognize yourself in every single human being. You know the path. You know what you did wrong. You recognize yourself, and you even know when they're going in the wrong direction. In fact, it pains us to try to resist their desire for pain because you want to help them so bad, because you know it's you know it's the path that hurt you the most, and you're attempting to save them from their pain. And as such, I am speaking of myself and every healer before me that tried to do the same or is that still doing it unconsciously. I know what I'm talking about because it's me. I understand. But here's the thing. You put on the human condition on purpose. There's a lot we had to work on. It is universally true of everyone. The human condition is actually written in the Bible. Every last part of our immortal dream that was written out, this mortal dream, this whole thing was written out. You were told of the darkness. You were told what to be careful of. You were told that fear existed, and within fear, you would cast a shadow, and that shadow would create something that wouldn't allow you to see. And as such, you would create your own suffering. You were told this from the beginning, but very few people are taught this correctly. And so you have false prophets teaching you false prophecy because they teach you the myth as being historical rather than the instruction manual it is towards the human condition that leads to the enlightenment, that leads to the awareness that you are God and that there is no other. There is one expressing as the many. You were told this over and over again. You are told that this is the shadow, this is the light, you are all of these things at once. And to the degree that you can accept this, the light will understand itself as the light through its shadow. In fact, it is written, I am all things, both good and evil. So can you accept that your story is everything on display, that the world is the confession of your character? Can you realize that you decided to put on this human condition? You did it on purpose because it is not what happens. You see, what happens is universal for everyone. It's universal for everyone. What happens is not what matters. You see, you already went through that. You already went through that part of the dream. What matters is, what do you as an individual do to heal yourself, to reach the understanding that everything in this world served you, that even the darkness that you experience, even the darkest, most darkest pains that you chose them to serve the world because they are common problems within the world. The darker the stuff you went through, the brighter the light that you are. The darker the stuff, the harder the stuff, the brighter, the bigger, the more humongous soldier, Navy SEAL, whatever you are. It is by design. What human beings did before, the baby boomers and everyone before us, minus the enlightened beings that tried to tell us, was fall asleep in that illusion. They fell asleep and they thought it was real. And so they lived, died, and breathed through that illusion. And in their sleep, they forgot the mission. They forgot the mission. So enter Generation X and every generation after that. We're here and we didn't forget the mission. But we still had to fall asleep within the dream. We still had to recognize ourselves as creator. We still had to step up. And we still had to recognize that the healing was on purpose. The healing is by design. The healing is all about you. Because when you understand that how you serve, how you do whatever it is that you do to arrive to this conclusion, to discover who you truly are beyond your illusion, this authentic version of yourself, this is what serves the entire planet. This is the design. This is the blueprint. This is exactly what you chose in order to serve the world. Most of you probably can't figure out that that's what it is because you've convinced yourself that you're smaller than what you are. But you are not. You are the whole universe at once. The story within yourself that is playing in here is what you are seeing outside. If you can accept that, then what you do about it next changes not only your trajectory, but the trajectory of everyone in your world. Because outside of you is a blank slate and a mirror, of which you are supposed to figure out you are the source of it in every direction at once. That is how you discover who you are. It's how you realize that you're serving the world. It's how you come to your true nature. And it is only until you do that that you can be completely healed and completely free, and you can rise above your construct and you're able to release yourself from the notion of suffering, you're able to release yourself from the notion of pain, you're able to release yourself from these things. My biggest struggle was letting you all go. I tried so hard to tell you this is the truth, this is the light, this is the way, this is what is written, this is absolutely the direction. You must turn back into yourselves. You must not tell that story anymore. You must not seek what is out there. I've said all of these things over and over and over again, and yet there you go, insisting on going in the opposite direction. And I tried for a very long time to serve as a barrier for you. Right? Because I love you that much that I know that you are me. I have taken you upon myself, and I recognize every single person as universal experience that is absolutely me. I cannot unsee this. I have source perspective. I understand it. And as such, I desperately tried to stop you from driving off the cliff into hell. Some of you refused to listen. And as such, I'm going to do myself the greatest favor on earth. I'm going to treat you like the prodigal son, and I'm going to let y'all do it. So if you choose suffering from now on, if you choose what is not outside of you, be my guest. You see, because I'm standing still in heaven, completely free from pain. I have achieved an understanding that is so beautiful. But Christ said it. Do not cast pearls onto swine. That is not an insult. That means do not share this gift with people who are incapable of understanding it. That's what that means. And I have finally understood. My desire to help you has reached its limit. I cannot anymore. I will help only those who help themselves. And from now on, as source, if you choose to suffer, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to resist. I'm going to say yes. Be my guest. Okay? I'm going to stand over here in heaven. I'll be waiting for you when you come back. Be my guest. Take as long as you want. On through eternity. Go. Take the shortcut through hell or not. That's up to you. I don't give a fuck. Go. Go. Because this gift can only be understood when you choose yourself. When you choose to see beyond the lens of 3D, when you choose to rise above to 5D, and then you can understand the full picture. But the only way to understand the full picture is to decide not to be a victim anymore, to decide not to be separate, to agree to look upon your shadow so that you can recognize the full thing and see, holy, I'm the light. Everything is being animated, and all of this shadow is me. And once you accept that, without fear of repercussions, without listening to the ego that says, no, avoid going that way, because if you go that way, God's going to be mad at you. God isn't mad at you. No. God understood something that took me a long time to understand, and that is free will. A lot of my life has led up to this moment. A lot of my life has led up to this moment. In fact, perhaps the reason that I am such an expert in love, and I really am an expert, I'm not pussyfooting around in this, my heart has never been broken. I've always been chosen. The two exceptions I mentioned, once I was 12 and once was my current situation 7 years ago, and even that was turned around within a week. And the other one took a few years, but I was a kid, I didn't know. Twice, that's it. Other than that, my biggest problem has been their obsession. I've never had my heart broken, and I never will. Why? Because that's the one thing I understand. First you love you, and then that is what's mirrored out. That's what's mirrored out. So when people say, how do you get your SP back? What kind of affirmations did I say? What do I do, this and that and that third? You've missed the whole point. You see, you're not changing them. You're not changing them at all. This is a mirror that can only show you who you are inside and can only mirror back the relationship you have with yourself. That's why love is one path to enlightenment. It's one. It's a very good path. Because it's the one way you will realize that your love, the one you have in here, in the relationship you have with your internal spirit, that's what's going to be on display everywhere. That's when you see that it is a universal mirror that shows you inside of you. And no one can show you that and prove that to you except yourself, because you must do it to receive it. You must be it to receive it. You can work on convincing yourself all you want. All I've ever said to you is, if you're going to try and convince yourself, if you're going to sit here and make all this effort to try and figure this out, just remember, you're only convincing yourself of what already is. You're already perfect. You're already healed. You've simply put on a costume called the human condition so that you can serve your entire universe as its creator. But you won't discover you're its creator until you realize exactly who you are. It is in full acceptance and full love of yourself and full understanding of your whole shadow and forgiveness of every single experience that has ever occurred that you can release yourself from the forgiveness lessons that keep coming. And when I say that it is a weight when you don't let go of someone and you hold on to that, it is a weight. Okay? These forgiveness lessons keep coming. And they keep coming. And they keep coming. Until sooner or later, you realize you're the common denominator. How long that takes you, that's up to you. Because, see, in lack and forgiveness, you remain in 3D. In lack of forgiveness, in speaking badly, in saying, making yourself a victim and saying all of these bad things that have happened to you and blaming the outside world and blah, 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 blah. Here, what you've done is you've remained in 3D and you're down here thinking that the world is happening to you. And that's how you know you're on the wrong side of the equation. Because the world does not happen to you, you happen to it. But you must come up here and understand yourself as creator. And that only happens by realizing that you are the light and the universe is your shadow. And through that contrast, if you're willing to look at that and smile at fear and literally make it your servant because you see through it, in that way, you can get to the other side and you can realize who you truly are. Every beautiful person on this earth is a unique expression of God. It's a unique expression. That's all there is. There's only God. If you don't like that word, I'm sorry. Okay, there's only your consciousness. Call it the universe, call it God, call it the consciousness, call it no mind. I don't care what you call it. God doesn't care what you call it. It's everything. And your understanding of that is going to evolve as you go throughout time. But it is you. There is no other. There is no division here. We are the one expressing as the many. And as such, I am going to now stop being resistant. And if you choose suffering, be my guest. Be my guest. I don't want to hear these things. You know who I want to help? The person that took the time to read and took some time to understand and ask a genuine question. Like, why did I choose to suffer? I understand as creator, but why did I choose to suffer? I want to answer your question. Absolutely. Hands down. I want to answer the person that says, okay, am I going backwards? Or is looking at my shadow in full acceptance actually a step forward? I want to answer your question. Hell yeah, it's a step forward. It's the way through your own BS to get to the other side. You see, the Maya is your BS story that you've made. Only the illusion is mental. And as such, it's going to require you going through it. So these are the people I want to help. I no longer want to hear you vent. I no longer want to hear you suffer. That is your personal choice. It is absolutely your personal free will choice. And you know what? I was allowed to make it. And so it is unfair of me, despite my attempts to want to love you and hold you back from your pain, to stop you. It's how I became who I am, and so I have no right to stop you from doing the same. In fact, like I said, the human condition itself, it is an illusion, but it is what we came to fix. And it is in removing the victimization and understanding ourselves as creator and understanding how it is universal experience that we rise above. You see, some of us chose molestation and rape, and you would think, what? Why? But isn't molestation and rape written into the Bible as something that was the darkness that has always been in there? Yeah, universal experience. It's going to happen to some of us. We chose it. Because it's not the rape or the molestation that matters. It's how we rise above mentally, spiritually, physically, that serves that serves the entire planet, because almost everyone goes through something similar. It's an injustice wound, and it is very common. Some of us chose to be robbed. Some of us chose to be abused. Some of us chose some of the darkest crap in the world. Not everybody, but a lot of us did. And that is by design. Because like I said, it doesn't matter who did what to whom. Everyone is perfectly innocent. And it is not until you can accept the Holy Spirit's plan for your life, for you to understand the greater picture, that you are freed from your construct. Otherwise, you miss the point. You miss the point. Because it's not what happened. See, what happened was there so that you can use it as fuel. I recently saw Jessica Alba talk about how when she first started her business, how she heard a lot of people condescendingly say to her, go back to endorsing stuff. Go back to acting. Go back to being a pretty face. Go back to what you're good at. Go back. Nobody took her seriously as a businesswoman with her own beauty line. Okay? Is that not common for some of us? Nobody takes you seriously? Okay. She said, she understood. She understands the design. She said, that was my fuel. That was my fire to prove them wrong. And it should be yours. Regardless of the circumstance. I'm just using a celebrity because, she was telling the exact truth that all of us must come to realize. Let it be your fuel. Let it be your fire. Let it be your reason for overcoming, because the entire world is counting on you to get your shit together, to understand yourself, to love you. Really get that. Because when you do, you're freed. You're freed. And so once you're freed, what starts happening to you is all the automatic behaviors that you have been subject to, that have been controlling your life, that have literally kept you unconscious, have now been made visible. And once that happens, Now you know what to do. You're not confused. You have peace. Why would you have peace? Well, you finally understood as the light how your shadow is making everything. And as such, you will no longer use it against yourself. You'll start using it for yourself. And that's when real life begins. That's when real life begins. That's why in the Gospel of Thomas it says, have you found the beginning that you're looking for the end? It says that. It's such an important quote. It's one of many. It also says, know what is in front of your face so you can understand what's behind it. In other words, those people that are forcing or trying to bypass or trying to get over or trying to not face reality so that they know what their work is, are taking the long way around. However, one's willing to be brave enough to face themselves and look at this mirror this way and say, oh, I was telling myself that. Oh, okay. Time to change that narrative. Boom. When you do that, it's instant. Today in our group, right? There's Jamie. She put a picture side by side. Okay? Side by side. It was an incredible picture. 2 pictures taken on the same night. She said in one picture, she looks slightly slimmer, right? And she just has a look. You can tell it's her true self, okay? In the other picture, there's nothing wrong with the picture. She looks equally as beautiful. But she said her story, that which she fears, was captured. And so she looks slightly heavier, slightly. It's just subtle. But both of those pictures were taken in the same night, which means she fluctuated states in the same day, in the same instant. And that is so phenomenal to catch like that in the moment, because that means that your change can be equally as instant. When you become aware of what you're unconsciously embodying, because it's all fake. It's all fake. But the fake stuff serves you so you can discover you're the truth within it. That's how you figure it out. And most people think, oh no, I gotta work out, I gotta exercise, I gotta do all this stuff, I gotta do, you're putting in those parameters. Because outside of you is a blank state. It's a blank. And all it does is mirror you back. You know, your wish is my command sort of way. In which this thing back here that's pretending not to be you, your spirit, is totally unbiased and just says yes. 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 Whatever you want. You want to experience that? That's what you came here to experience. So I'm going to say yes. 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 So if you say, I want an unavailable person, yes. If you say, I want to be heavy, yes. If you say, I am poor, yes. If you say, I am in pain, yes. And my biggest issue was, because I loved you, I was trying to stop you from doing that. And that's where I went wrong. I'm not going to do that anymore. You're going to learn the hard way just like I did. I only want to help those who help themselves from now on. If you're willing to truly realize what I'm saying, you will find the rainbow at the end of the tunnel. You will realize what you're about. You will see your construct. You will make the unconscious visible. And once you do that, everything comes to you. Because you're not trying to change anyone. You're not supposed to be forcing anyone. You should not be saying stupid affirmations like, he loves me, she loves me, this kind of nonsense. You need to love you because the mirror shows you what's in front of you so you can see what you're doing back here. So if you have to convince yourself that someone loves you, it's because you don't love you. And this is why you're not being chosen. You're not choosing you. You are choosing the object in the mirror. And I've said this many times. I'm going to say it one more time. If your eyes work like mirrors, and I take, I don't know, this object right here. I take this object, okay? Outside of me will be a reflection of this object. It's by design, so that you want it. You can come back to what was already given, because Spirit already gave it to you. And so, when you go to seek it out there, what you are doing is grabbing for the object in the mirror. Not the actual object that you can have when you realize that you've had it because you've had it all along. You are going for the object in the mirror in the wrong direction. Because it doesn't exist out there. What exists out there is a reflection of what you already have. And as such, when you already have something, do you desire it? No, you have it. You are it. You are everything. And most of you, I try so hard to tell you, listen, drop your desire, because your desire is simply what your heart is picking up right here, letting you know what's inside your warehouse. You are literally told in the Bible, you must make the unseen seen by recognizing that you already have it. So you simply get grateful in your heart and you can have it. There's no need to convince yourself. There's no need to struggle against your construct. It's be still and know. However, should you choose the long way around, you can do the sats. You can do your dream worlds. You can do whatever it takes. It's fine. Just understand that you are aiming for the object in the mirror, the reflection, and not the actual object. And that is why it's taking so long to obtain it. That is why. I told you your eyes are mirrors. I've said these things over and over and over again. Why? Because I don't want you to struggle. I don't want you to suffer. I want you to have it. Because source beings, we understand that we're everything. And as such, whatever we want just happens as soon as we get out of our own way. And some of us, it takes a minute for us to remember this, but it's okay. Eventually we come back and we get it. And that's why we share it, because everything is added onto you when you understand this. But no amount of my trying to convince you of what's right in front of your face will ever convince you. It must be your experience. That's why you lead the horse to water, but the horse must drink the water. And that's why I've been stressed, and that's why I've been snappy, because I'm trying so hard to get you to see what you're refusing to see. That whatever is in the present moment, that is your work. Stop trying to bypass it with affirmations. See what you're doing to yourself, because if you can auto-correct in here, this image automatically changes. But if you make excuses for this person not choosing you, then what are you doing? Enabling them not choosing you. Just as in a love thing. If you make excuses for the money that you don't have, you're enabling the money that you don't have. You literally hold up the construct rather than look at it the way you should, which is look at it in reverse and say, this is what I've created. Great. Now I'm going to use this as fuel. As soon as you do that, it is the women in our group that are making humongous strides. The second they said, you know what? I choose me. These ladies are going to experience the love of their lifetime in an instant. Why? Because you're not supposed to desire anything in here. Your desires exist outside of you for good reason, because the universe is supposed to bring them to you. You are not supposed to run after the objects in the mirror. Those are reflections of what you already have. So it is in reverse engineering that idea that you can have it. However, if you choose not to, continue to do the work, continue to struggle against these things, and continue to be the reason you don't have it. It is in desire that you create time and space illusions. And those time and space illusions will look like he's not here yet. She's not here yet. She's with a third party. He's with a third party. Will look like he or she is in a different country, in a different city, has not chosen you. That they have to do that because you're not choosing yourself. You're not. And if you try to compensate for what they're not doing, you still haven't chosen yourself. You must realize and be open to being receptive and realize that you are everything. And that's when you gain everything. The love of your lifetime, the money, the homes, whatever. You don't even want it because it's all imaginary, I'm honest with you. But it'll come to you. You won't be looking for it. It is in not wanting that you get it. That's the irony. Why? Because of the law of reverse effort. And I told you this many, many times, but I'm going to repeat it one more time. What you don't want, what you do want, exist side by side. You're literally right here in the middle. And by not wanting, you're least resistant to the things that you don't want. You kind of dismiss them, right? So what happens? They appear all around you outside as something that you just have to claim as yours to have it. So it is in not wanting that you get them even faster. That's the paradox. It's the law of reverse effort. It's the law of reverse effort. If you can grab this, whatever you desire is already yours. So instead of using desire as something that you're going to struggle against because you've questioned whether or not it's yours, you use desire the correct way. You get really grateful for it. You know that it's yours and you put it out of your mind and you go do anything else. Go be present. Just be grateful for what you already have. Drop it. You don't want it anymore. You've placed this order on the Amazon catalog of life, and Amazon doesn't fail you. Hell, Amazon brings things right out of Alibaba. I need 48 hours. Nice. Because if I order straight from Alibaba, it might take me 10 days, 2 weeks, or whatever. So you're deciding, are you going to let Amazon's the universal Amazon shipping system that's already perfected bring you this thing without resistance so that you can enjoy the experience because your desire already told you have it? Or are you going to go the long way around and wait for China to deliver while you struggle and wait and check on your package and see if it went through customs and blah, blah, blah? You'll still get it eventually. But which one? Path of least resistance or the path of most resistance? So you can't serve two masters, so you got to choose which one. Okay? Now, I love you all, but I've lost my resistance to your suffering because it's causing my own. So I've lost it. I'm going to say yes. Yes, 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 yes. To anything you say, including pain. However, if you take the initiative, if you really struggle and you want to understand yourself and you go about this search and you ask for clarity on something that I can see that you've really put the time in, my time is yours. I will carry you on my back out of hell if that's what it takes. I will not leave you. Yeah, I have no problem. I'm not afraid of any demons. I've tamed them all. That's my promise. But from now on, I help those who help themselves. And that's it. All right. Thank you guys, and thank you for listening. And please do think about what I'm saying, because the minute you stop wanting because you've simply accepted that it's yours, it is. And that's true of anything. Job, money, people, things. Abundance is your birthright. Just remember, you're sitting in the square of life. The square of life is your self-expression, which is very important, your wealth and your health and your relationships. And all of that is abundance, and you're literally right here in the middle of it. And anytime you get off kilter, one of these will fall. One or two, sometimes three or four, depending how far away you stray from the center of the light of your own understanding that is already all of these things naturally. You see? And the further you stray from this center point where you have it all, okay, so you start to stray, you cast a shadow. And so these things start to look as if they're farther away and collapse, and you take from you your prosperity. The further you go in an attempt to chase what is not out there, the less you have. The less you have, and the less you have. The more you understand yourself and the gift that you are, and the more you start to go this way, the more you have. Why? Because you're no longer seeking external validation. You're no longer seeking anything outside of you, because you've understood yourself as source. And as source, you are one with your undivided love. And love is basically everything. And I don't mean just romantic. I mean it is everything. Love is money. Love is your health. Love is your wealth. Love is your self-expression. That's all that there is in this world. So if you can do that, you can have it all. Okay? I love you guys. And thank you. Thank you for making this effort. I will meet you, like I said, in hell if you make a concerted effort to get yourself out. I promise. That's my promise. Okay? But what I'm not going to do is pull you out. Okay? And then I look back and you've thrown yourself back into the pit. That's what we're done with. Okay? For my sake. So I'm going to move up north, and this is symbolic of the fact that I'm moving up in my world. And I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to receive it, and I'm going to remain there where I belong. Thank you.